So Dior is so sauvage. Really? I don't think so. Are they really? Not to me. But they keep using that word sauvage in a lot of their fragrances. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about fragrances that have that word sauvage in it, and if I think it's sauvage or not. So if you want to find out about these fragrances from Dior, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time landing on my channel, you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, and of course participating in giveaways, and still haven't subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So yeah, Dior uses Sauvage in a lot of their fragrances. Now, originally they launched Eau Sauvage back in the 1960s, and they've had multiple flankers to that fragrance. And then they launched Sauvage, just Sauvage, like really Sauvage, in 2015 with the Johnny Depp campaign, and later, a couple years later, they launched the EDP version of that as well. Finally, they also have a new fragrance called Balade Sauvage. I really love Balade Sauvage, by the way, and I bought it to wear it, and it's been really great. Fig fragrance, an ozonic, slightly aquatic fig fragrance that sort of reminds me of their discontinued Dune fragrance. So if you like Dune, you might think about trying this one. Dune pour homme, by the way, not Dune with a woman. But they love using the word sauvage. But these fragrances that they have called sauvage, which basically means savage or wild, are not necessarily really savage or wild to me. They're pleasant smelling fragrances, but the majority of them are not really savage or wild. Are they to you? Let me know, put a comment down. So let's start off with Eau Sauvage, the original, which I recently featured in my summer fragrances video. If you haven't caught that, please do watch that. Now, I featured this at number 1, even though it's called Eau Sauvage, Wild Water. I don't think it's really wild water. It smells great, it's refreshing, it's got herbs, it's got lots of citruses, and of course some vetiver. And also there's that creamy touch under there. It smells like a creamy, I don't know what it is, but something creamy in there that gives it like a coziness. And that's why I like wearing this in the summertime, because even though it's citruses and herbs and vetiver, that underlying creamy tone or creamy touch is very, very balancing and cozy during the warm, very, very warm summer months when you are like exhausted from the heat. So that's perfect. But see, I don't find this to be very savage or sauvage or wild. Do you guys find this one to be? It's a very, very great fragrance. I don't think it smells similar to the original one that my dad wore in the 70s when I smelled it on him first. So 60s to 70s. I don't think they're close to what this smells like now, because it's been reformulated. But still, this is such a great scent. I love it. I really love it. I think it's one of my favorite designer fragrances. Performance probably is not the best because it's so fresh and been redone, reformulated. But you can find it on discounters and really get some discounts on this stuff, and then have it be like a great summer, or even like a very everyday kind of scent for someone that's looking for something fresh to wear, and maybe turn it into their signature fragrance. It's that kind of a fragrance. But you might want to replenish or carry your bottle with you. The 50 ml bottle is very tiny, so you can carry that around, or make some decants of your large bottles, because the larger you go, the more juice you get for the price. And if you do the math with the mils versus how much it costs for the bottle, all that good stuff, it's the cheapest to go with the largest. Then you're going to be needing to carry decants with you. But just going back to the idea of this being savage or wild or sauvage, it's definitely not. Perhaps it was when it first was launched in the 60s, but it's definitely not now. There was the Extreme that I recently reviewed, I guess maybe perhaps this one can be a little Sauvage, but it's definitely not like really Sauvage. I think the layers, the additional layers that they've added in here, give it a slight bit wild edge to it. Definitely not really wild. Just there's a lavender note. There's more aromatic touches in here, and check out my review of this one if you haven't really caught it yet. But it's a great scent. It's more aromatic because they boosted up the aromatics and then balanced out the citruses in this one compared to this one. So there's more of a lavender and more herbal touch with this one, which I really like. It's definitely not the Parfum or the Parfum version of the Eau Sauvage collection, and definitely not the original Parfum from 2012. I have the 2017 here, but even though I think I can say this one can be Sauvage, I think the 2012 version is more Sauvage. More wild. I don't have the 2012 version here with me, somewhere around here, but it's kind of stored away because I have a little bit left. But this is the 2017 version, and I can say this is a little bit Sauvage. It's definitely more Sauvage than this, and definitely a lot more than the EDT. What I like about this one is because they boosted up resins. They've got resins in here that are like amped up. So you've got lots of resins, and then kind of like deep and more intense citruses. They have yuzu in here, I believe. Lots of vetiver as well. And I like this one a lot. I prefer the 2012 version, but they've redone it. So unfortunately, we're stuck with the 2017. But they're completely night and day, these two. They're nothing alike, completely different. This one, I think, goes more closer to the original, where they boosted up lots of the aromatics here. Here, I think it's completely different than any of these two, or either of these two. This is more close to the original 2012 Parfum. Anyway, it's a great scent. The collection is great. Not all of them are Sauvage. This one's closer to the Sauvage or wild factor of the fragrance. Then in 2015, they launched Sauvage. They decided to drop the Eau Sauvage, the wild water, and they just wanted to call it Sauvage. And they used Johnny Depp in the ad campaign for this one. Oh, with the 2012 version of this, they had used Alain Delon, a film footage from one of his films for the ad campaign for the 2012 Parfum. But here they decided to go with Johnny Depp, and they did this huge campaign. I think he got $5 million for that. All the they did video and of course photo ads and everything. So it was just a big campaign. They made a lot of money from this one. I guess even though it's a freshie, this one, I guess, because it has that weird abrasive quality to it, I guess I can say this one is Sauvage, but the overall experience after that abrasive part wears out, we're left with something very soft. I don't think it's very Sauvage, personally. It's not very wild. But I think upon initial spray, it definitely is, because it does rub me the wrong way. And it's that abrasive quality that Sauvage is. I can say that about this one, but comparing it to the EDP or the Parfum, it is this one is a little softer, and I like that about it. And there's that light licoricey touch with it as well, like anise. But they're very close. These two are very close. They have major closeness to them. A lot of people don't see the differences. I do pick up light hints of differences, not a lot, and I kind of prefer this one because it doesn't have the abrasive wild Sauvage qualities that this one does. It's a little softer, it's a little closer to the skin. This one projects a lot more. This one is not as projecting as this one, and I prefer wearing this one a little more. So I do like this one, but definitely this one's not Sauvage. It has the Sauvage touches, the wild touches, but I don't really consider this a Sauvage fragrance. And then we're going to this fragrance, Balade Sauvage, which basically means wild walk. And that's what triggered my video for today, because of this latest one that I bought that has the word Sauvage, wild walk. And this one, as I said, reminds me a little bit of Dune from Dior. It's discontinued. I mean, it was initially available in Europe for the last 7 years that I've been traveling there, but I just recently found out Dune is discontinued. But this one is similar to Dune in the fact that it has fig in the nose. You've got a little bit of fig fruit in here, and you also have a little bit of the fig leaves, but it also has some ozonic and aquatic touches. Bearable, but I really love this one. It smells great, really. But the thing is, it goes down so fast. I love spraying a lot of it. It smells great in the heat and a little bit of humidity. It shines. It's definitely not Sauvage. I guess I can call it Wild Walk, but I'm not sure if it's really a wild fragrance to me. Smell-wise, it's not wild either, but I love wearing it. It's a great scent. So those are the different Sauvage fragrances. We've also had, going back to the Eau Sauvage, we've also had the leather version of Eau Sauvage, the flanker, that came out, I don't know, 10-15 years ago. I thought it was from the 80s, but then I was looking up, it's from about 10-15 years ago. So there's been flankers to the Sauvage name in Eau Sauvage, but I don't find a lot of these fragrances to be Sauvage or wild or, you know, whatever you call it, Sauvage, wild, whatever you want to use. But I don't find these to be very Sauvage. And as I said, maybe a little bit here and a little bit here. But overall, LVMH owned brands, Dior, fragrances are definitely not wild, not Sauvage. But I guess the name sticks. People like it. People tend to gravitate towards it. So that's why when they launched in 1960s, this one, they build on it here, and then they did it here, and then finally did it here. Let's see if they're going to do it again. Dior does like to use their names over and over again. I do see some Diorella or DIORISSIMA, things like that popping up in this collection as well. So it's reliability thing. But what do you guys think? Do you like the fact that they use the word Sauvage in their fragrances? Are you fans of any of these fragrances? These ones, or this one? Do you like them? And what do you think? Are they really wild? Are they Sauvage? Are they savage? Are these fragrances? Is that the experience you get from these fragrances? Let me know. Put some comments down. This is basically a straightforward video. I just wanted to discuss the fact that, you know, Dior likes to use the word Sauvage. And if you have any comments or anything, do write below. And if you were I guess a creative director and we're trying to put together a fragrance and you wanted to use the word Sauvage again, what kind of fragrance would you make to make it more savage or wild? Put that down as well so I can find out. Maybe perhaps they'll do more in the future. In fact, maybe they'll do some flankers to these ones. I'm sure they will. But we shall see. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.